ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Udit Krishna Prabhu, prayers are not done, right?
Yes.
Yes, Guruji.
Not done.
Not done, Guruji.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपक ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमः श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 23, Devahūti's Lamentation. Very sorry, I just joined 2-3 minutes late today. Somehow one devotee is going to US, so we had a long talk. So we are at text 55. So here we have seen that devotee is requesting Kardama Muni to stay for some more time so that she can take full advantage of him in terms of spiritual realization. And now we come to text 55.
54.
Sango yastamskriter hetur astau vihito धिया
We are on 54, Prabhuji.
कृतो निस्संगस्त्वाय कल्पते. Translation.
Haribol Prabhuji 54. Its purport is remaining.
54 purport is remaining. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. Purport. Devavati is lamenting her position. As a woman, she had to love someone. Somehow or other, she come to love Kardama Muni, but without knowing of his spiritual advancement. Kardama Muni could understand Devavati's heart. Generally, all women desire material enjoyment. They are called less intelligent because they are mostly prone to material enjoyment.
We have done this,
Devavati.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
We have done this yesterday.
So then we are on 55 then, Prabhuji.
Yeah, just continue with translation.
Okay. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Purport. The association of a saintly person in any way bears the same result. For example, Lord Krishna met many kinds of living entities, and some treated him as an enemy, and some treated him as an agent for sense gratification. It is generally said that the gopis were attached to Krishna for sense attractions, and yet they became first class devotees of the Lord. Kamsa, Sishupala, Dantavakra, and other demons, however, were related to Krishna as enemies. But whether they associated with Krishna as enemies or for sense gratification out of fear or as pure devotees, they all got liberation. That is the result of association with the Lord. Even if one does not understand who he is, the results have the same efficacy. Association with a great saintly person also results in liberation, just as whether one goes toward fire knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will make one warm. Devavati expresses her gratefulness for although she wanted to associate with Kardama Muni only for sense gratification. Because he was spiritually great, she was sure to be liberated by his benediction. Hare Krishna.
So sangos tava samsmriter hetur. So here devotee is saying, association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage. But the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Now mark these words, eva sadhusha kruto. Because we should be extremely grateful to devotee, the way personality she is. Because later, some of the bestest of the best chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam are going to come. That is discussion between Devahūti and Kapila Muni. That, mother and son samvad is there. And there these words are going to come. Saeva sadhusha kruto mokshadvara apavritam. Same words will come there. The same words Devahūti is saying. And then later the son is going to pick up the same words. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the association of a saintly person in any way bears the same result. For example, and then what this means is that whenever we are with a great personality, it is going to have some impact on us. Right? There is a story of brother of Ambarish Maharaj and Narad Muni coming across this brother of Ambarish Maharaj. This is a Puranic story. This comes in the Puranas. While Ambarish Maharaj himself was a very great personality and a great devotee, this brother of Ambarish was a debauchee, a rogue number one. And he was so sinful that he could not tolerate even the sight of any saintly man. And whenever he saw the saintly man, he wanted to kill them like that. And Narad Muni, of all, he decided that he took a compassion on him and he decided to deliver him. So Narad Muni straight went to the palace of this Ambarish Maharaj's brother. And he asked him, and this man became so angry, he just picked up, he got his sword about to kill Narad Muni. Narad Muni just fearlessly stopped him. He said that you cannot kill me. I have a spiritual body. But you remember, because of your extremely sinful activities, you are going to hellish planets. And when you will see Yamaraj and Yamadutas, ask them this one question. And this man was startled that somebody had the audacity to remain composed at a death threat. And he asked Ambarish, he asked Narad Muni that, what do you want me to ask? And then he asked him a question, what happens to a man who has unknowingly, unwillingly come across a pure devotee of the Lord? Now we have only a couple of pages to complete this chapter. So I will just elaborate. We will discuss this story in a more elaborate way. And he became very angry again, this fellow. And he was about to hit Narad Muni with sword. Narad Muni just antardhan, he just disappeared from that place. And he wanted to forget what Narad Muni said. But whatever you want to forget, you will always remember. There was a psychological experiment by the universities where they said that forget, don't remember red monkey. And the man said, red monkey doesn't exist. Why I will remember red monkey? But because he wanted to forget red monkey, all the day he remembered red monkey only. Like that. Okay. So he wanted to forget what Narad Muni said, but that just hit him in his mind. That, what happens to a man who has unknowingly, unwillingly come across a pure devotee of the Lord? Eventually, as the fate would have been arranged, he died a very miserable death. Yamadutas arrived and Yamadutas picked him. And when he saw the Rupa of the Yamaduta, that we are going to see in the 6th canto, Yamadutas are very vividly explained. So, how they look. He was extremely frightened. They were taken, he was given a tour of the Naraka. That Naraka also we are going to see later in the 5th canto, 29th chapter onwards. There is a description of the hellish planets. And they said that, we are going to punish you if you have any question. And they just gave him the entire life and, how they have come to conclusion of these many punishments. And he says, yes, I have a question. And my question to you is, and then he immediately remembered Narad Muni's question. What happens to a man who has come across a pure devotee of the Lord unknowingly, unwillingly? And the Yamaduta had no answer. They said that, oh, we don't have answer. He said that, no, you have to give me answer of this question. Otherwise, you are transgressing dharma. And he just gave some big pep talk to Yamadutas. Yamadutas said, we don't have answer, but our master Yamaraj is a Mahajan. He has answers. And they took him and all the entourage to Yamaraj. And he asked Yamaraj the same question. Yamaraj said, Although I have, studied Vedas and everything so exhaustively, but nobody ever asked this question to me. Frankly, I also don't have answer. And but then he said that, but you have such a question, and now he received the association of Yamaraj also. Yamaraj is also a pure devotee of the Lord. Previously, he had come across one devotee. Now he received the association of another devotee. Yamaraji said, I have to take this matter to Brahmaji. And they all went to Brahma. And Brahmaji said, I don't have answer. And by that time, by association of all these great personality, this rogue was transforming into a great devotional personality. He had seen now, the Yamapuri he had seen. He could see Brahmaloka. He was traveling through the universe. And Brahmaji said, what an amazing question. This must be a highly elevated person. I don't have answer to this. Let's go to Lord Shiva. He will have answer to this. And all of them, they went to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, when he heard this question, he hugged this man. He said, what an amazing question you have. Quality of a question indicates what kind of personality you must be. But frankly, I also don't have this answer. Let's go to Lord Vishnu. And now with this man, along with Yamaraji, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, they all went to Lord Vishnu. And they said that, my dear Lord, this is the question. That what happens to a man who has come across a pure devotee of the Lord, unknowingly, unwillingly? And Lord Vishnu said that he attains my lotus feet. You leave him here, he has attained Vaikuntha, you go back to your universes, and you take care of the regular duty. So Prabhupada says here, association of a saintly person in any way bears the same result. We have another example of Nalukuver and Managiri. They had association of Narada Muni briefly, and it was a very offensive way they dealt with Narada. Narada Muni cursed them, but then later they attained the lotus feet of the Lord. Right. So every day we are also associating with Srila Prabhupada through his purports. And this is a huge thing, people, it is very difficult that in our lives previously, even to chant one mantra, it used to take remembrance, Karagre Vaste Lakshmi, Karamadde Saraswati, Karamule tu Govindam, Prabhate Karadarshanam. And now we have dozens of devotees who are starting their day with Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is going to have a huge, phenomenal, results in our life. Because Prabhupada writes here, association of a saintly person in any way has the same result. And what is that result? The result is natural attraction towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, Lord Krishna met many kind of living entities, Prabhupada writes here. There were personalities like the gopis who were naturally attracted towards Lord by the conjugal feelings towards the Lord. Gopya kamat, bhayat kamso, dveshat chaidya dayo nripaha. Kamsa was attracted out of bhaya. He always remembered Krishna and Balaram. In fact, when his two wives, they came in, he remembered Krishna and Balaram. Right. So Gopya Kamat Bhayat Kamso Dveshat, out of extreme envy, Chaidya Dayo Nripaha. Chediraj Shishupal, he was always very offensive, always thinking of Krishna in a very derogatory way, in a very, very negative way, always thinking how to kill him, how to destroy him, how to blaspheme him, how to offend him. This was the constant thought. But because in thought Krishna was there, they attained great result. Of course, Acharyas explained that there is a difference between Anukula Bhakti and Pratikula Bhakti. So gopis performed Anukula Bhakti. Kamsa, Shishupal, they performed Pratikula Bhakti. But still, Bhakti is so powerful that they got liberation from the cycle of clutches of birth and death. And therefore, Prabhupada says here, whether they associated with Krishna as enemies or for sense gratification, out of fear or as pure devotee, they all got liberation. Like example of Paundraka. Paundraka, he was thinking himself as Vasudev. And he put two additional arms, we will read in 10th canto. And he came he wrote a message to Krishna that, I am actually Vasudev, you are imitation Vasudev. And Krishna, they had the big laugh in the Dwarka assembly. And then when Krishna challenged him in the battle, he saw Paundraka's form. He had put up two false arms and he was like looking like that. And Krishna just killed Paundraka. What happened to Paundraka after that? Bhagavatam explained because Paundraka was always absorbed in the thought of Krishna, although feelings were ill feelings, but the thought of Krishna was very purifying. And therefore, Paundraka attained Sarupya Mukti, he attained a Chaturabhuj form as a Vishnudut in the Vaikuntha planet, as a Sarupya Mukti, having the same form of the Supreme Lord. So this is, this is the effect of association with the Supreme Lord or his devotees. And therefore, Rupa Goswami says, Tasmad kenapi upayena manah Krishna niveshayet. Somehow or other, one should hook one's mind towards the Supreme Lord Krishna. Prabhupada says here further, association with a great saintly person also results in liberation. Just as one may touch fire accidentally, knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will burn. Similarly, association of a devotee, association of great saintly man will have, a positive effect in one's life. Further, Prabhupada writes that Devahūti expressed her gratefulness. She felt that, she has associated with Kardama Muni for sense gratification. But now, let his association also enlighten her in devotional service. So this is how a devotee is praying to Kardama. Please stay back and now give spiritual association to me. This is how devotee is. Such an amazing personality devotee is. And Kardama. Text 56, very beautiful verse. We'll recite this. Nehayat karma dharmaya
Nehayat karma dharmaya
na viragaya kalpate
na viragaya kalpate
na tirtha pada sevayai जीवन्नपि मृतो हि सः. Translation.
Translation. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Purport. Devahūti's statement is that since she was attached to living with a husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to the state of religious life is useless activity. Everyone is by nature inclined to some sort of work, and when that work leads one to religious life, and religious life leads one to renunciation, and renunciation leads one to devotional service, one attains the perfection of work. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, any work that does not lead ultimately to the standard of devotional service is a cause of bondage in the material world. Yagnartat karmano nayatra loko iyama karma bandhanaha. Unless one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service, beginning from his natural activity, he is to be considered a dead body. Work which does not lead one to the understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. Hare Krishna.
Now Devotee says, Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaye jivan napi mruto hi saha. Very strong. She is condemning oneself in a very strong way. Dharma should lead to vairagya, vairagya should lead to bhakti, and bhakti should lead to devotional service, ultimately to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, such a person is considered to be living dead. Living dead means a breathing corpse. So this Bhagavatam has very strong analogies. So this analogy will come time and again. Bhagavatam very strongly talks about this. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Devahūti says she was attached to living with Kardama for sense gratification. Not entirely so. She had performed amazing devotional service. And as a youthful, the girl, that the way she was, she just very naturally expressed her desire. Kardama fulfilled those desires in a grand way. And now naturally she has come to conclusion of vairagya. Right. And this is the extreme humility of Devahūti as well. She considered her life was simply a waste of time. Why? Because any work performed ultimately that doesn't lead to devotional service is considered as a bondage. Very important thing it is. Right? We are engaged in so many activities, but ultimately what we are going to carry? That doesn't mean we should not be performing activities. That means that our goal should be very clear. And that's why Bhagavad Gita always advises, Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yad juhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. That the work should ultimately lead to attachment towards the Harikatha. Otherwise, that work is considered as a bondage, simply a waste of time. Bondage is yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. And Prabhupada says, otherwise, that is considered useless. And the verse for that is, Na utpadayed hariratim yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. One has simply labored very hard. And material life is a very hard life in a way. One has to work very hard. And then what happened? That if there is no love of Godhead at the end, then it is considered as shrama eva hi kevalam, only a shrama and nothing more than that. Text 57. Saham bhagavato nunam vanchita maya dridam yatvam vimuktidam prapya namumuksheya bandhana. Translation.
My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Purport. An intelligent man should utilize good opportunities. The first opportunity is the human form of life, and the second opportunity is to take birth in the suitable family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge that is rarely obtained. The greatest opportunity is to have the association of saintly person. Devahūti was conscious that she was born as a daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated and cultured, and at last she got Kardama Muni, a saintly person and a great yogi, as her husband. Still, if she did not get liberation from the entanglement of the material energy, then certainly she would be cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy. Actually, the illusory material energy is cheating everyone. People do not know what they are doing when they worship the material energy in the form of goddess Kali or Durga for material boons. They ask, Mother, give me great riches, give me a good wife, give me fame, give me victory. But such devotees of goddess Maya or Durga do not know that they are being cheated by that goddess. Material achievement is actually no achievement, because as soon as one is illusioned by the material gifts, he becomes more and more entangled, and there is no question of liberation. One should be intelligent enough to know how to utilize material assets for the purpose of spiritual realization. That is called karma yoga or jnana yoga. Whatever we have, we should use as service to the Supreme Person. It is advised in Bhagavad Gita, Swakarmana tam abhyarchaya. You should try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's assets. There are many forms of service to the Supreme Lord, and anyone can render service unto him according to the best of his ability. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 3rd canto, 23rd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Devahūti's Lamentation.
Saham bhagavato nunam. So she says now, my Lord, surely, certainly I am solidly cheated by the insurmountable material energy. One classic example of somebody solidly cheated by material energy is the scientist, right? So, I mean, that is such a classic example of somebody who is solidly cheated by material energy. Having obtained your association, which gives liberation from the material bondage, I did not seek such a liberation. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that intelligent person should utilize good opportunities. So, what are the good opportunities? Prabhupada is counting good opportunities. The first opportunity is that one received the human form of life, where one can naturally read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita, chant the holy names. No other species can do that. Second, one has got a suitable family, where one is able to cultivate the spiritual knowledge. And the third is association of a pure devotee, which is extremely rare, and that is the greatest opportunity. Now here, Devahūti is reflecting and she's saying, I was born as a daughter of Swayambhu Manu, who himself is a Mahajan. Right? Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Manu. So he himself is a Mahajan. She is the daughter of a Mahajan. She is a wife of great saint like Kardama Muni, who is an authority, who is a Prajapati. She is the sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapat. She herself is extremely personally qualified. So, and in spite of all this, she is feeling that I simply was looking for material enjoyment which lasted for many, many years, but which just went away like Muhurtavat. Prabhupada says that Maya means the energy of the Lord which cheats us, miyate anaya. That which is not is called as Maya. Like, we see the appearance of Maya when Kamsa, when he was trying to kill the 8th child, the child just flew from the hands of Kamsa, went up in the sky, and the first thing the child, the baby, she assumed the form of Maya Durga, and she said that you fool Kamsa, the personality who is supposed to kill you is born somewhere else. And this is the first thing Maya did was cheating Kamsa, right? Because that is the job of Maya. Prabhupada writes somewhere, that is the thankless job of Maya, so that she can keep away the disturbing elements in the material world and only the serious personalities will be taken back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, Maya will test everyone, even the devotees. Right. So this is how the Maya is going to cheat, especially in the form of excessive attachment for the material life. Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam, Taya Aparita Chetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhir samadho na vidiyate. So, of course, bhoga and Aishwarya is important, that we have seen, but at a point of time, one should realize that how much is too much and how much is too less. And one has to strike a delicate balance, right? Swakarmana. And by performing one's activities in such a way, it should become, siddhim vindanti manava. But it should become actually the worship of the Supreme Lord. And this is how Devotee is now lamenting. And she's saying that, my dear Lord, please stay back more so that I can take your spiritual association. And this is how we conclude the 23rd chapter of 3rd canto, Devotee's Lamentation. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare
Don't
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhupada, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.